Welcome back to our Better Angels. This is still Case 1, Part 2. Call this episode Distortion. Last episode, the group of Sans Henry Fitzgerald ended up in the town of Bico, and they see that it's killing me. It's like someone's yelling behind me. I've got to switch it. I'm sorry.
Oh, the music?
Yeah, when I'm talking, like my brain's thinking. Like I'm always like my brain's always set to like if somebody engages me with verbal content, I'm gonna stop and let them talk. And so there's somebody like in the background singing, and I'm like, well, I'll let them
It sounded
go.
like Louis Armstrong. I don't think it could have been.
Fair. Focusing up. They're in the town of Ico. They've all kind of engaged in one way or another with bits and baubles from the Rebels collection. We changed the scene up a bit today to start with. This scene takes place well before the day the group wound up in Bico. You, Henry Fitzgerald, are in New York. You have taken efforts after correspondence with Professor Arthur Haynes to coordinate your transport from New York to the town of Bico. So it's not exactly a short trip. You are quite wealthy, though. So there are a couple of things we could do here, but it does sound like the main option is just driving, right? Having your chauffeur drive you to that place. Even though it's a long drive, it's probably more safe and more comfortable for you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And the mirror is
Do I have a
being...
name for him? Is he going to be a regular?
Yeah, so the chauffeur, since he's going to be kind of someone we're dealing with and is going to be present, if you want to come up with a name for him, that's fine. I can also throw one together. I'm presuming, just based on like my imagining of the guy, is he's a larger, like more kind of muscular guy.
Yeah, he's not just a driver.
Yeah,
He's my man.
he is. Yes, he is your man. Correct. And
Um,
I'm thinking like either like Irish or Italian, kind of like well dressed, well kept, probably a pistol on hand.
I
And
like Malachi. Let's do Malachi.
Malachi. Okay, we like it.
That is Irish for sure.
Yep. So Malachi, your Irish driver, will be taking you from New York City to the small town, or the city rather of Arkham, Massachusetts. The drive for you is long and daunting. It's probably one of the more harrowing experiences you've had in your well-to-do life. It's just a lot of nothing in between the spaces.
Henry's well traveled. He's made these road trips before.
For certain, but like I would say that like it's just
He doesn't enjoy the travel.
absolutely. So then yeah, this is just a kind of shut
We're
off your
going out to
brain.
the booties.
Or maybe he's reading like during the drive. That's also a possibility.
Could do.
That said, you arrive in Arkham. Malachi drives up to the university. It's about mid-morning when you arrive, and you are kind of let out. You enter into Arkham, walk up to the front desk. A couple people are kind of confused because you're obviously someone of importance and they don't know who you are. The woman behind the counter says to you, "Hi, good morning, sir. Is there anything I can help you with?"
There was a lady at the counter.
Yep.
Yes, my dear. I was looking for a Professor Arthur Haynes.
Oh,
I understand he has a art history background. I have some items for him to overlook, please.
of course, of course. Well, just a moment. And she kind of runs off into the back. There's probably like switches, coordination phone calls being attempted. She then comes out and says, "I wasn't able to raise him. I'm going to send somebody over to his office just to ensure he's there. If you'd like to accompany them, you can, or otherwise you can just wait right here in the waiting room."
I'm sure whoever you're sending is more than capable, miss. I'll happily wait for him.
Of course, about 10 or so minutes pass.
And Professor Haynes, It is art history. What is his background?
Antiquities.
Antiquities.
Classics, antiquities.
Classic. Practically
You know,
perfect.
you're adjacent.
Yeah. About 10, 15 minutes pass. The person you saw run off comes back, doesn't seem to have any accompaniment, speaks to the lady at the front desk, who then comes around to speak to you, and she says, Arthur Haynes left early this morning, heading for the town of Bico. According to the information we've been able to pull, you weren't supposed to arrive for 2 more days. You've arrived quite early.
Yes, ma'am. Malachi drives rather quickly. He's Irish, you see. But Mr. Dr. Haynes, I understand he was waiting for me. I don't see this as being too out of the ordinary. Where could he be?
He went to the town of Bico. Well, according to what information and notation he left, it was for a very relevant and important research. I don't know if that relates to what you're currently engaged with, but I'm assuming you have a place that you are staying up here in Arkham?
I have a hotel booking, but I'd rather speak to Mr. Haynes as quickly as possible. Do you know when he's due to arrive again?
I believe, according to the note, it was left kind of open, but I can't say for certain. I do know that Bico is only about a 40 or so minute drive outside of the city. Possibly less if you're driving with, as you said, an Irishman. It could be it could behoove you to try and seek him out in the town, or if you'd prefer the comforts of Arkham City, you can remain here.
Malachi, get the road map. I'll call the hotel. We'll cancel our reservation.
Of course. And she pulls out like a big old clunker of a
Malachi
phone.
is always there. He's just looming behind me.
Yeah. She pulls out a big old clunker of a phone and kind of like stretches it over to the counter and sets it there so you can make a phone call to the hotel. Also setting up
I'll
like,
do it right there.
the phone switchbook, so when you call the operator, you can tell them who you're trying to contact. And then she'll go into the back and she'll come out with like, a big old kind of parchment of a road map. Massachusetts, we've seen it. I'll go ahead and flip us to it. Again, let's see. There we go. Highway map. Bam. And so you have an idea of where you're heading. You are in Arkham currently, and Bico is just down the way there. You leave your message with the hotel. They say they will, of course, cancel the booking. They look forward to seeing you when you are ready. Malachi.
Discord likes to do this, or not Discord, but my computer likes to do this thing every time you change the map in Roll20. So, apologies. I lost the last 15 seconds-ish.
Okay, so...
And your cameras are probably askew.
I will try not to switch maps, I guess.
Not too quickly.
Okay.
Or don't focus on me while you do it.
So, you cancel the hotel. She gives you a big parchment map, which is what I switched over to. It's not too far away. If you hand the map back to Malachi, he very quickly studies it. It's like that Jason Bourne kind of thing, where he kind of looks at a map for a second and like he's got his whole route planned. Like Malachi does that, passes the map back.
He's a good man.
And then she, would you like to leave a note just in case you miss him and he arrives before you?
Why, yes, I believe I should, shouldn't I?
Just in case. And she pulls out a parchment.
Professor Haynes, Henry Fitzgerald, see you on date. I would have brought the mirror. It would be bundled.
Yeah. So actually,
somehow on the car.
No. So you
or
sent
is it in transit somehow?
You sent it ahead, so it arrived today, but it arrived after Arthur left because Arthur left early in the morning ish. It arrived like maybe 30 minutes before you arrived.
Okay.
And she would say, we don't know what to do with the mirror or with the contents of your delivery, and the delivery driver is very concerned. Do you wish us to take it into Arthur Haynes' office? Do you wish to secure it yourself at wherever you're staying?
This is a fine pickle Professor Haynes has put me in. I don't suppose it would fit in the vehicle or on the vehicle somehow, Malachi.
I could put it in the trunk, or I could put it on the top.
I think tying it to the top would be most wise decision we could make. How about, ma'am, nobody's unwrapped it yet. It's still packaged.
Of course, it's still in the back of the vehicle. The driver has thrown quite a bit of a fuss because we haven't been able to take it, because Arthur was not here to accept it. We were also not expecting it to arrive for at least one more day.
I'll be sure he's compensated. Malachi, why don't you take the car around to where that delivery is being made and help him secure it to the roof?
He heads to the back.
Give Malachi a couple dollar bills.
He heads to the back, and by the time you're on the scene, kind of like outside, he's pulling around to the front with the mirror strapped to the top. Looks like he secured it with a large amount of, heavy rope. And when he kind of goes to let you into the vehicle, he actually opens the passenger door instead of the back door. And he said, I had to secure the back doors. He kind of points to the rope. You can see it's tied underneath. So it's kind of locking those two.
Totally fair. He had to tie it through the windows?
Yep. And so you get in the passenger seat. You can see that as he kind of sits into the driver's seat, he's kind of like, you can tell there's a vibe change. Like there's definitely he's kind of got like a confused kind of like, this is weird.
Don't get nervous now, Malachi. I'm in a different seat.
It's fine. He says as he turns the car over and heads off. Yeah, he does drive with a little bit more caution due to the fact that the item is on top of the vehicle.
Even though Henry trusts him completely, he would still take another look at how it's being fastened, make sure nothing's being damaged.
Sure, yeah. If you kind of give it a once over, you see that
give it a tug, make sure the bindings aren't so tight against the furnishing.
It's very well tied. You also notice that he's taken parts of the packaging and left them on the sides. So it was kind of secured inside of like a box kind of deal. And so he's kind of taken it out of the box but kept those secure kind of moorings on the side and used those to aid in the binding. So he would have probably gotten you there in 25 minutes, right? With his normal driving speed of I don't give a fuck. But his, concern...
road safety laws were very different.
Very different back then. Yeah, they actually had commercials that told people not to walk on roads because they would splatter you. But he, cautious due to the mirror, not so much concerned for other people. You arrive there in 40 minutes instead of 25. So this would be around 11-ish. And when you arrive, it's kind of died down from the activity that we had mid-morning with the group. So we saw that the bus kind of unloaded everybody kind of near the entry of town.
There's even less going on in the town right now.
Yeah, I'm about to move the map. I don't know if there's anything you can do to help.
Just brace yourself. I'll be back in a sec.
Did it do it?
No, that one's good. That one was very simple.
Okay,
it's
great.
the big ones. It's the big ones that throw me.
Yeah. The highway map I can see. I think the
it's the big ones are the ones with a lot of objects saved to them.
That's definitely the highway map. Okay, so Bico, you enter in on the south side. The general store is where the bus was, but by the time you arrive, it has since left. You would also note that, like I said, it's not very busy in the main street, Avebury. So you kind of drive up to where you expect to get the most information, which would be the village hall. When you arrive there, he lets you out, opens the door, go into the village hall. He stays with the car because it has something expensive on it.
Yes.
But you can see that he's kind of keeping an eye on you as you're entering in, and there's a lot of open windows that are kind of like very kind of it's a hot day, but there's a lot of open windows. There's a lot of seeing space, so you can see right into the kind of front chamber of this place. So he's kind of maintaining his focus on you. You enter in.
Hey, here's a question for you,
Shoot.
and I apologize. This should have come up way sooner. Should I have, like, inventory and things?
Like gear and stuff?
Like starting gear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoops! We missed that part when we were doing character creation.
Oh.
We'll deal with that
Your
soonish.
credit rating gives you a certain number of
Possessions, spending level, and cash. I'm gonna knock $2 off of cash.
Because you gave it for the driver.
Yes. How do I edit the cash?
You have to be in edit mode.
How do I enter edit mode?
top right.
Oh, this changes many things. Hang on. No, this is not what I wanted, gang. Edit mode. Edit mode brings me to some computer nerd stuff. We want just this number to be smaller by 2.
Zach, I don't think you ultimately need to worry too much
Oh!
about dollars and cents things.
I'm sorry,
because
there are
you're,
2 edit buttons.
You're wealthy.
You're
You're wealthy.
You're filthy rich.
Yeah, you could just like grab some inventory and throw it on there, whatever makes sense for you.
I'll be honest. Yeah, like if you outside of you kind of like pulling out a car out of your pocket, like there's really
Right.
not much I'm gonna imagine you might not have. Like,
Okay.
and I trust you as a role player to know what your character would have. You're not gonna pull out
He has, some fines on him. He has, maybe he probably is armed. I gave him some points into.
He's probably got a really fancy
jewel encrusted cane or something.
Yeah, and the pistol's probably.
He's not vain. He's just wealthy.
Yeah, the pistol's exceptionally ornate, and then you probably have a pocket watch. That's pretty standard.
That sounds reasonable.
You probably have like spectacles, but you also have almost like binoculars, like opera glasses.
I don't know how I missed this point of character creation.
It's fine.
Because we had a whole session 0, and I don't think it ever was came up.
I know that
Thank you,
Malachi's
Jody. Thank you.
Malachi's
not do that.
optioning. Malachi's optioning.
Does Jody
for
not
stuff.
have possessions either?
Nope.
Well,
Sick,
she
okay.
has a switchblade,
Vindication.
so I'm okay with that.
I have a switchblade and I have an old pistol.
Yeah, totally fine
That's
with
all
that.
I have.
You're
Okay.
wearing clothes.
I'll
we described
keep it. I'll
those.
keep it
It's okay.
reasonable. I'm going to make, the occasional mention of vague wealth, but I'm not gonna say like, oh, here's some fliff for a new car.
Malachi
This town is mine.
Malachi probably has a shotgun in the trunk. There's probably a survival bag in the trunk. There's probably like all sorts of stuff that he's kind of set up in there because again,
Gotcha.
protection, racking.
He's a clever boy. He knows what
He's got a job to do.
He's worked for me for a number of years now.
So you can see the kind of main thoroughfare there. You enter in, you kind of move towards Village Hall. He lets you out. You walk in. Like I said, there's several windows kind of in the front space there. You enter into that front chamber, and an older gentleman kind of walks over to you and says, excuse me, sir. Would you happen to be one Henry Fitzgerald?
Why, my reputation precedes me. Yes, sir, I am. What can I do for you?
From my understanding, and my coordination with the Arkham, Miskatonic University, I have it under an understanding that you folks were going to be arriving in a couple of days.
Oh, you see, I arrived early in Arkham and did not wish to wait for Mr. Haynes. Is it Mr. or Dr. Andy?
Doctor.
Dr. Haynes.
Well, Professor Arthur Haynes has already been here. The custodian has already spoken with him and acquired several documents. He kind of snaps his fingers, this guy. An older gentleman kind of walks over to him with like a stack of papers and kind of hands it forward. The guy who's speaking to you doesn't immediately grab the papers. He just kind of lets him like continue offering the papers without like taking them. And he says he had some information drawn up regarding the rebels and their history and their home. And then he drove off with a farm boy named Raymond Revels, who happens to be related to the craftsman you are so interested in.
Rebels. That is the signature I gleaned from the mirror. There's a Revels in this town.
Yes, and he just left with Professor Haynes and another gentleman whose name I didn't get.
What's that dog? He is ahead of me. Where is this Revels fellow.
Fortunately enough for you, he takes the papers from the guy who kind of like breathes out a sigh of relief as the papers are taken from him. He offers them to you, and you can see on the top there's a map, and circled in red ink is a house, and then next to that, like a ways away, on the map is circled in black ink. It says Raymond Revel's house. The red ink one says Revel's estate, and then under the
Perfect.
like on the ink, it actually says Adam. That guy's last name. Who cares? He's dead.
Does that mean I get my house back for free?
That's not how that works. That's
Are you in the will, son?
That's not at all how that works. I killed him. I reclaimed my ancestral home. This is not Dungeons and Dragons.
So this Adam, whoever, must be an in-law. Maybe we should visit with him. Maybe it's an older sister. Might have some information.
Well, he's not related. Actually, he purchased the house out from underneath the Rebels'. They were kind of in a bad way. Farming had some problems back in the earlier portion of the century. And, you know, with everything that's been going on around here, everyone trying to acclimate to it, a lot of expenses have been put into things that are needed. Automobiles, trucks.
Out of character. Who says the earlier part of the century?
Earlier part.
back in the aughts. Back in the.
This asshole.
We had a few bad seasons between 16 and 18.
Yeah. It's almost
Anyway.
like now.
Yeah.
Then there was the COVID of
That's
20.
some bad seasons.
The roaring 20s. Anywho, he gives you the map, gives you the information, the documents, and tells you that they went to Raymond Rebels' house, which is the black marked one. And then if you are interested in meeting with Adam, that would be the other location. But he's almost certain that Arthur's still there, as they left together. They followed Raymond.
And this Raymond Rebels, what can you tell me about him?
Young boy. Local. Mm-hmm. And he's a farmer. He managed to, with some hard work, ingenuity, and a little bit of what he was left by his ailing father, who passed, he was able to secure himself a small home and a little bit of a farm. I believe he's got some cattle, not much, but enough to live by. Folks in town like him. He's very reliable, very sturdy individual, but unlike his great-grandfather, or his grandfather, Gabriel, he does not exactly have the imagination to be an artist or an educated individual like Gabriel was.
I see. Not too skittish, though. I hope I'm not rolling up on some shotgun-wielding maniac.
No. Quite the opposite. Raymond is very much like a excited puppy.
Ah.
I believe it was actually him who... Well, it could have been the other way. I don't know. But typically Raymond will see new people entering town and ask them if they need any help about town at all. And he's very, very forward, as some of the folks are.
A young man looking to earn $1. Very good, very good.
He is indeed.
Well, sir, beyond that, I don't suppose there are any lodgings in this town of Baiko, are there?
Yes, there's the boarding rooms, but I, again, had some plans to take you up into my own home. And he kind of says, I apologize rudely, I have not introduced myself. I'm the mayor.
Oh! Mr. Mayor, I am Hank Fitzgerald. I offer a hand.
Yes.
I got a little caught up on myself. Forgive me, sir.
Absolutely not a problem. And he says that his name is Eric Baird.
Baird?
Baird, B-A-I-R-D. And he explains to that as he's kind of like leading you towards the outside, because that's what you're presumably going, he'll point out that his home is right there. Did you get that ping?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the one that's a
Not
slightly
at all
smaller.
far from Village Hall.
It's a slightly smaller shape of Village Hall.
It's the same building scaled down.
It is. I did cut because the Village Hall wasn't actually there.
I don't blame you. It's good.
Okay, so are you going to speak to your man and head off after Arthur Haynes, or do you wish to secure yourself at the Baird estate?
If Dr. Haynes has business with Raymond Revels, I don't want to interrupt it right away. I do wish to meet them both. It sounds interesting, to say the least. But I think it wise to secure the mirror in a safer place than the back of the Auburn.
Perfect. So then, what will be happening then, chronologically? And I told you about 30 minutes. I'm really good at this. You and Malachi will be going to Baird's house, and he tells you to meet with his man. Then you will kind of coordinate securing your luggage and such into the Baird household. Malachi will kind of do a once-over of the whole house, just so he knows exactly what's secure, what's not. The mirror will be put into your bedroom. And then you'll return to the car. So this will take about 30 minutes in game time. So you'll be driving out of town at about.
We're gonna
noon.
leave the mirror somewhat wrapped because
Yeah.
I don't imagine we're staying in Byko for terribly long.
Yeah, he is not. He is not un.
It's
he's not-
staying bundled. It's staying cushioned.
Yep.
It's just placed securely in the room.
It's absolutely ready to be thrown right back on top of the car if need be. He then will take you down to the car, and you will head out after Arthur Haynes to see if he's still there, and if not, then try and engage Adam at his estate. Or
Yes.
the Rebels' estate. Okay, flashbacking. Bianca, you and the girls are leaving that house and moving down the road as quickly as you can to Raymond's house, as we discussed.
Yep.
You would arrive there about the same time, I think, chronologically, based on what we've got, as Henry Fitzgerald and others will be arriving there. You folks who are at the house already have already invested about 15 or so minutes in shenanigans after the Bianca with the cops situation. So you've probably got about another 30 minutes of dialogue and discourse to kind of track through here. And if Arthur, you're just taking more notes. If you want to take every single bit of detail off of the mirror or the vanity without taking it, that'd probably take about 30 minutes. But again, I'm leaving the page open to you, leaving you exactly where I left you before. Mere shenanigans.
I think we left it that Arthur was suggesting to Raymond to be careful, to not look into the mirror. And I think Otmore was probably had the same idea.
Yeah, I would, while Arthur was, like, scribbling down and making his notes and everything, I would probably tell Raymond that how dangerous this object actually is and everything that we just saw. And I know it wouldn't be going through because, as he said, he's been living with it, seen it a bunch, really didn't bother him and didn't care. But he would try his best to kind of convey the, like, seriousness of this situation.
Maybe cover it up.
Yeah. I would ask him if he had a sheet or a towel that he would be able to spare for that.
Kind of beats the whole point of it being a mirror, though.
Well, on that subject, are you looking to perhaps sell this mirror?
I mean,
It would be a valuable inclusion in my collection.
had to think on it, probably.
Okay.
I would also chime in saying that what type of money would need to be persuaded? Like, basically asking Raymond, like, what do you need? What could we how could we get this from you if possible?
Okay, let's see.
There's a farm call.
Real quick, the vanity, as we discussed, this is kind of a flashback scene I'm going to do here with Raymond. The vanity was something that you know came from your grandfather, right? When your father was being bought out by Adam, there was discussion about the vanity, and he said, like, while being, kind of sick at that point, not as full sick as he got later on, but through kind of coughing mouth, he said, "There's no way in hell you're taking my father's vanity." He gave it to his wife, and I gave it to my wife, and my son's going to give it to his.
So sentimental that to you.
Yeah, and the offer that they threw out at it, that Adam did, was $30. Which again doesn't sound like a lot in real life money, but for young yokels.
Oh, I put that translation thing in there.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that is.
Well, 50 cents was $10, if that helps you.
Yeah. A lot of money. There it is.
Yeah, $10 is like $150, so it's like $450 in today's money.
Yeah.
Roundly.
It's about roughly $486.
It's 500 $500 maybe?
About
Yeah.
$500.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Oh, do you want to throw some numbers at?
I'm not here.
Definitely more
Oh
than
yeah,
a
you're
dollar.
dealing with a murder.
Yeah, Raymond would just be like, I'm not the smartest cookie here, so I'll probably have to maybe think on that too.
Okay.
Don't sell yourself short, young man. And are you interested in continuing some part-time employment?
Depends on what you need. I can do certain things.
Well, you seem to know the town and all the local people and fixtures, so maybe you could be our sort of in-town guide, as they say.
That's fine with me.
What am I missing?
Oh,
Just a little thunder theft is all.
that's funny.
I don't know what I'm missing.
Zach,
No, you're fine.
Zach is a funny
I'm
guy.
making fun of you guys throwing money around when I'm not there yet.
Real quick question. Could I look over the vanity without looking into the mirror part?
Yes. So
To do
another
my
thing.
own appraisal.
Another thing, too, to note, the vanity. So I described it last time. It's a very simple kind of desk-like structure. And then there are two spindle mounts that kind of have the angelic structures on the side. There are two screws that go through those and connect to the mirror, which is oval-shaped. And then on top of the mirror is the arc, as it's kind of opened up, as I mentioned. And then the water structure is basically everything beneath the flat of the desk. It's almost as if like the flat of the desk is like the water line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
I didn't know if I could throw an appraisal roll out there just because that's like when he said that amount of money, he knows that that's not like chump change. He knows it's really well crafted, but he wanted to like take another look and really look at it.
the condition that it's in, if you want to roll an appraisal roll, that's fine. But the condition that it's in, it's definitely going to be less than what it would be worth because it's being used by a farmer as an actual desk at this point. His dad did not treat it that way, but Raymond is like, well, I don't have a desk in my new house, but I've got
I
this.
have a wife to give this to.
So he's just kind of like, sat at it and did his crunch the numbers, stuff like that.
I am gonna roll it just to have that in the back of my head.
Give it to me. Yeah, super hard success. So as it stands, it's definitely got an old style to it that is very novel and very kind of in keeping with people who are fans of antiques, fans of antiquities. I would say if you were to kind of take into account the notoriety of the Gabriel Rebels, if there is some that you're not aware of yet, to art cultured individuals, then this might be something that's seen as a bit more valuable. In its current state, this is kind of taking in that damage, depreciation, and then the craftsman level. I would say it's at least worth that much,
Okay.
even in the state that it's in.
That is good to know.
Again, I can't really give you a visual aid, but if anybody here is familiar with I'll try and remember that thought and get it to you in a bit. My brain's not working, but back to you talking. Sometimes it just switches off,
Oh yeah, I missed completely what you were talking about.
Where am I? Where the hell am I?
I was reading something.
Fair.
Yeah. I would say to Raymond, well, we can bring that up at a later date. About maybe purchasing this from you, if at all, or maybe putting it into I would look over at Arthur and be like, maybe putting it into a more respected or understood place for these type of objects in the future. But of course, we don't have to do that right now. I also just picture Arthur just like furiously scribbling, being like, yeah, as he's like going back from what happened to him.
Brett, could you remind me, did Arthur ask Raymond if he had any letters or notes or journals from Gabriel?
Yeah.
Who crafted it?
Yeah, but his answer was, I didn't know you could own a library. Did you ask if I had them in my family library?
Do you have them in your family library?
Yeah, it was a no, because he didn't even know he had a library.
He doesn't have a
Well,
library.
Do you know where the journals are? Where the notes are?
No, he doesn't know anything about that. The only few things he knew about his grandfather was things his dad said.
Okay.
So the reference I was trying to get to you, if you're familiar with William Randolph Hearst and the Hearst Castle, like the woodworking, like tier is like on the same level as like the dining set and the like. Posting it in the general, and then I will show folks at home with a real quick
Oh my.
these. So yeah, William Randolph Hearst had kind of really well done stuff, kind of brought upon, but some of it was actually stolen from Britain.
Stolen
castles.
from Britain.
Yeah, different castles and churches therein. So again, it's the style that we're talking about here is very old world. Like someone passed the knowledge of how to do this to Gabriel. And that kind of raises it to like a craftsmanship level that's not easily replicated. Especially in an era where machining is not really as sophisticated as it is now.
Raymond would say if there was anything like that, if Adam hadn't got rid of it, it'd still be in there.
I'm sorry, say that again, Brett?
No, Raymond would say if there's anything like that left over and Adam hadn't got rid of it, it would be in the old estate.
Oh. Would we be able to see that?
I don't know. Adam's not the best of both.
So you would know that the house, it is a 2-story building. It is a 5-bedroom. It has 1 bathroom because it was built at a time where an outhouse was utilized and plumbing was only added in by your father before the sale, and it was at a time where he thought they would have money because they were doing well, and then farm livestock, it became harder, and a lot of people were buying from more kind of close or more reliable sources. But yeah, you would know too that the barn nearby itself has a wine cellar underneath. And the house itself doesn't have a basement per se. It just has kind of a downstairs to like a furnace room.
John,
Yeah.
does Biko have a newspaper of its own?
It does, but when you kind of notated, it is not current. It does seem that they've released them weekly instead of daily.
Okay, but they do produce something in town.
Correct.
Okay, so if I know this, I would say to Otmar, maybe we should stop by the newspaper and look through their clippings archive. That might give us some information about Adam, because I think we need to find a way into that house. I would say, Elaine, so that Raymond couldn't hear.
I would nod along with him.
And oh, go ahead, Chandler.
Oh no, I was just going to end that there.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, Arthur, are you still going to, since he's not selling the vanity, are you going to try and secure as much information about it as you can since you have access to it now?
Yeah, so definitely I'm drawing pictures of it. I'm looking closely. I might even like put a piece of paper, of my journal paper up and do like a rubbing. Yeah, just that kind of thing. Looking behind if there's any manufacturer's information, any date of manufacture, any like maker's mark, things like that.
So there are 3 points of interest on the vanity that are kind of unique to it that you kind of noticed. The vanity mirror, when you kind of turn it around to kind of not look at it, or sorry, did you do that or did you just cover it? I forgot which one you did.
Well, so I would try to leave the mirror portion covered with a cloth.
Okay.
And then I'm looking around to the back of the mirror, like on the wood. Yep.
So if Raymond's okay with the desk being moved, Arthur asks for some assistance, obviously, and it's yours. And if the two of you move the vanity aside, you'd see that as you kind of lift up the veil, so to speak, on the back ring of wood. So it's like a small flat piece of like wood that's been settled inside of a ring of kind of carved wood that's holding the mirror, and they're kind of latched together inside. But on the ring of wood on the back, there are small little carvings that go all the way around in the ring. And Arthur, as a fan of the occult, you realize quickly that these markings are Gaelic runes. And they seem to have been arranged in a very strange patterning.
Could I make out what that pattern would be?
It's a perfect circle. Like it's almost like a magical circle.
Okay. Interesting.
Maker's marks on the back side of the back. Most furniture like this, the facade is the important part. The back isn't really given a lot of detail work. But what definitely confuses you is that the back of it has detail work. It seems to have a very kind of light patterning of what's on the front. Not as well indenture or carved, but still decently kind of just worked to make it look full 360 around the base there, like a water motif. With the animal crackers kind of inside of the water, drowning animals. And then
I'm looking to see if there are any hidden like little compartments or notches or things like that.
Perfect. That was one is the ring, the weird ring of runes. The second part that was interesting is that the back is still worked despite it not being necessary for this specific type of furniture. And the last one, I'm going to require a roll. It'll be spot hidden. I don't think there's a more detailed investigation check. So yeah, spot hidden.
Right.
Okay.
Success.
So you're kind of toying with the veil as you're kind of putting it back, and you kind of think for a second, kind of pull it down so that you can see the arc that kind of sits as like a capstone of the mirror, and it's open, and you realize that it can close. It looks like it's a small little, like, it's almost like a jewelry box. It is currently empty, and it looks like it might have sat like a piece of jewelry, like a ring or like earrings or something like that.
This is in the back of the mirror.
This is inside of the arc, like Noah's Ark that's on the top of the mirror setting.
Okay.
And yeah, there are cute little doors that can be kind of closed, and there's no hinges. It's just like they've made the wood or carved the wood in such a fashion that it allows the doors to open and close.
Have I ever seen this kind of thing before?
Yeah, I mean, the woodworking is exceptional, but you've never... I mean, you've seen, small little doors like this in antiques.
I would point out the sort of jewelry box to Raymond. I said, "Does your this looks like it might have held something invaluable. Were you passed down any valuable jewelry, gems,
I don't think
rings?"
it was.
No. Okay, interesting.
The only thing, because it made me pick something. The one thing I picked on the out of character thing when we were doing character creation was his dad's wedding ring. But I don't imagine it'd be worth anything.
Okay. Okay.
Do you wear that ring on your hand?
I imagine it was probably too big for his hand because he's a pretty scrawny little guy.
Gotcha.
So he kind of
Yeah.
just has it on a necklace or something like that,
Can
or in
I-
his pocket.
Could
Yeah.
I see it if you have it? I would ask to see it, and I'm looking especially for like a water motif for animals on any kind of engravings on the ring.
I hand him the ring.
Yeah. So if you kind of unclasp the chain and hand it to him, the ring. If you want to go ahead and describe it, Brent, it's
Just
your
a
right.
basic metal band, I would imagine.
White
Throw
gold,
it into the
probably,
fire.
or possibly just silver.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And hand it back.
Yep. And I'm again drawing pictures of the jewelry box thing that I found in my journal.
So it looks like it holds a ring, Raymond would ask.
It looks like it's a jewelry box, so I mean it could hold all kinds of different things. But that's the reason I asked. It might be of some significance.
We can put it in there and see what happens.
Nothing.
The ring.
Because
Yeah, we can put it in there and shut the doors and see what happens.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
Places it in there, closes the doors, open the doors. It's still a ring. It's still the same ring.
Okay.
This is Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. So you continue your note taking. Obviously,
Yeah,
there's some
yeah.
moving of desks and stuff. Bianca,
Yeah.
you're heading up the road. Go ahead and do me a favor and make a spot hidden check.
Who did you ask? Sorry.
Bianca.
Bianca.
I'm sorry, I'm making a spot check.
Spot hidden, yeah. Okay. So as you're coming up the road, and you're heading towards Raymond's house, you can see Raymond's house, just off the road there, and you're kind of walking along down it. Further up the way, at kind of a bend on the road, you can see what looks like a car coming up the road.
Okay. I keep going towards Raymond's.
Okay, so you arrive at Raymond's, kind of start walking towards the house, and everybody inside, because we already described the door still open,
Yeah.
kind of an open air. You would turn and you'd see three women, one of them being Bianca, walking up to the house. I would say the only person who saw... Never mind. The only person who might have a look of distress is Bianca, but I'm assuming not the case because she's a badass.
Yeah. She's hurried though, she's probably out of breath.
Okay, so you walk up, and you can see inside there's the two folks that you don't know very well, if at all, other than the intimate, nature of a knife to the Grundle region, and then
Call it acquaintances.
Raymond, of course, you would see kind of move towards the door, or was close to the door anyways, probably to greet you.
I would go up to him and kind of hurriedly say, I need a ride back into town. I have, Lorraine's found out some new things that'll make your toes curl for a week and a half, but I need a ride back into town as quick as possible.
Okay.
Sounds like
I
a-
will owe you.
As she's saying that,
All right.
and kind of standing like at the threshold to the home, and you're kind of talking at her from the porch, you would see a car come around the corner. And go ahead and describe your car, Zach.
Yeah, it's a 27 Auburn. What was it? A Roadster?
Mm-hmm.
I think we went for.
Really?
But that might not work with the. It's a Auburn. It's a very opulent car. It's motor enthusiast's car. He's not necessarily a race car driver, but he likes fancy things. He's always had an appreciation for these cars. Driven by a larger Irishman, and you see good old Hank Fitzgerald there.
It parks a distance away, like from Arthur Haynes' vehicle, which is parked in kind of your front yard there. And you see the big man get out of the car, kind of look at the both of you, doesn't say anything, just waits a couple seconds, and quietly maneuvers himself to the other side of the vehicle, which would be opposite of where you're looking, opens the door, and out comes Henry Fitzgerald. Go ahead and, yeah, you already kind of described your character a bit, but if you want to go for more of it, you can.
Yeah, he's Henry's not the largest man. He probably stands maybe 5'8", 5'9", somewhere, whatever's roughly average for the time being.
So we're 5'5".
Really?
5'5", 5'6".
5'5"? Okay, we'll say 5'6" then. Forgive me. Hair very well kempt, sort of slicked back. Dressed very nicely, especially for the town of Vico. Despite what he would consider his traveling clothes. He has a hat and a pocket watch he is checking to see the time as he steps out of the vehicle, and is otherwise a very handsome-looking man.
12:08 is the time.
Oh, it's just after noon?
Yeah.
Wow. Malachi
Would you have
knows
grabbed?
what he's doing.
Would you have grabbed like a light lunch when you were at Baird's house, or would you have skipped it and?
Nah, we skipped it.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, Bianca, as you kind of turn around and look again, that's the fanciest shit you've ever seen. Like you've definitely cut with some higher end folks, but that was the fanciest shit you've ever seen, and you definitely understand the caliber of man you're looking at now. As we're kind of like looking at Lorraine, is kind of like looking at you like, what is happening?
I don't think she would worry about it right now. She's too distraught.
Yeah, and
I don't think she'd care.
the girls are obviously a little less distraught because they didn't go in, so they're kind of like engaged, right? Like, but they're not gonna.
Yeah, that's fine if they're gonna do their thing. They know what they're supposed
Well,
to do.
they're kind of looking to you like for a semblance of like, go, and since they're saying not that, they're gonna hold back.
Okay, I was gonna say I'd be focusing on getting her right back into town to try to get help.
Yep. So Raymond has agreed, I think, and Henry, you start walking up. Obviously, Malachi right either in front of you to kind of block you or behind you, depending on how you want to do it.
He's right behind.
Cool.
And if Bianca and the other two girls are leaving, I take my hat off and step aside for them.
Looks like they're heading towards the truck, but Raymond is currently here and has guests, so that needs to be sorted.
Before he leaves, Raymond will walk back in. Just lock the door when you leave, or just shut it. It'll be all right. I gotta take Bianca back to town. I'll see y'all in a bit.
Sure thing, thank you.
And then Raymond's like, "Are you a friend of the professor?" Talking to Henry.
Dr. Haynes, is he here?
Yeah, he's right in there. If you just want to step in there,
Outstanding.
there's not
I was
really
hoping to
nothing
speak with
fresh in
him
there.
and son. I was hoping to speak with him and a Mr. Raymond Revels. I understand he's
That's
a farmer
me.
in the area.
Yeah, that's me. I'll be back in like a set amount of time. I just gotta run back to town real fast.
Oh, well, that's.
But
That is
you can sit in there.
disappointing.
The door's unlocked. It's normally open, so you can kind of
Malachi.
relax in there. There's 3 chairs. 2 of them are taken right now. So
Malachi kind of shrugs, and like you kind of get the vibe like he's kind of tired of doing the chasing people around thing. So again, you can play off that how you want to, Henry. But again, you have a limited amount of gasoline, obviously.
Well, I suppose we could wait for your return. Ladies, I hope you get into town safely.
Okay. Real quick, out of character, I'm trying
Sure.
to be as team player as this is possible. Can anyone come up with a reason why I wouldn't be doing this right now? I found one of my girls dead. I'm going back. My first thought is get the cops, try to get him out there to look at it. But I don't want to be not.
Is there a
team player
telephone?
here.
Are telephones terribly impossible to find?
I would say Raymond has a telephone, but it probably only goes to the police.
That would be fine.
Yeah.
If I can use the phone, then yeah, that'd be fine. Then let's do that. That way we don't have to separate the party again. So we'll
Yeah.
do that.
that's fine.
That was a good call. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So I get on the phone.
Well,
And-
another thing that could kind of pique Bianca's interest is to help play a along is Henry just said he's here to meet with Arthur, which means we now have 3 people who are interested in this Raymond Revels kid, right? And so, yeah, they're back there and they're dead, right? Or whatever. But if they're dead, they're not going anywhere, right?
Well, in the moment, I'm siding with Jody here. In the moment, Bianca's dead focused. That girl is dead. She was his responsibility.
She cared about her.
So you're gonna call her up. That's what I'm saying.
She was her responsibility.
I get you. That makes sense. It's good role play.
Yeah. So like I said, I would definitely call up the cops.
Okay. So then, if you ask to use the phone, Arthur, you're finishing up your notes as Henry's coming in. You would see it's not a very large living space. It's very strange. The vibe I'm getting here, I think, it's like a very simple person's house. Probably, dirt.
Lovely digs, son.
Lovely digs.
Can I interest you guys in some water or milk?
Milk sounds delightful.
Okay.
Malachi wasn't.
I'll go grab
how hungry I am.
a bucket. And go
When in
make the
Byco.
milk out.
Because you don't have a refrigerator.
I
You
know.
don't-
When in Byco.
That is so great. That is so great. So fresh. Arthur would lean into Otmar and say, "Mind your manners with that one," motioning towards Bianca.
Otmar would kindly get up and make sure that he is between Bianca and Arthur.
So
Again, just to be kind of a separating barrier, if at all possible.
Raymond points out when Bianca asked for the phone, which would have been what was asked for at the door instead of the car. When you kind of enter in as a group now, he points out where the phone is, and it's kind of in an adjacent room, which is basically like a nook, which is then connected to the kitchen, which is where Raymond, after asking where people wanted stuff, he's going to go through that and go to his milking cows. If milk was put on the request. And so, Bianca, you kind of enter into surprisingly clean kitchen, right? Because I think Raymond is, this is where I, lounge and stuff. This is where I kick off my shoes. That's the living room, right? This is where I do, like, the homework. But the kitchen is where I cook, and that's important, right? So, you enter in, you get the phone, and you're making a phone call. Let's go ahead and do that before we do the Henry/Arthur/Otmar dialogue in the front room. What's the call like, Jody?
I call, pick up the phone. Call.
Please. What's going on, Raymond?
Who? This is Bianca. Who is this?
You know who it is. What happened out there?
Is it Bill or is it James?
It's Bill.
Bill. And he could definitely tell we're in her voice. I think I smelled a gas leak somewhere out there. You definitely might want to go check it in case I've heard that if gas leaks happen, the house can explode. It probably should definitely be checked pretty quick.
Gas leak, huh?
Yep, definitely stove or something's going off and smells like a gas leak from my walk out on the outside.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be over there to check it out.
Sooner than later.
I'll give it a go. Yep.
And hang up.
Okay. So those of you who are Raymond would have overheard that conversation as you're kind of getting the bucket ready, securing it, and heading out the kitchen area to the space. Those of you who are inside of the front room probably disregard all of that happening because you're engaging each other in pleasantries. So let's do that conversation next. And Chody, I'm going to give a nod to you when you're basically done with that conversation and are now dropping eaves on them, okay?
Yep.
So Arthur, go ahead.
I would allow Arthur to start because I don't know either of these gentlemen.
Dr. Haynes, I presume?
It is. Henry?
Call me Hank. Lovely to
Hank.
meet you, sir. Forgive
to meet
my bold nature. I wanted to meet with you right away.
Certainly.
Now, the good lady at the office of the university told me I could find you here in Byco. I canceled my reservation for a hotel in Arkham to come and meet with you right away. I have this mirror. I understand you've read my telegram.
I have.
I think I'm really onto something here. I'd like to get it appraised. I'd like to get some information on it.
As you're saying that, you look to the centerpiece of the room and can see the vanity, which, as an art connoisseur, you would recognize. It's scuffed and damaged, but it is very much the same craftsmanship as your mirror at back home.
And then Arthur would say,
I'm just going to trail off and just sort of go look towards that vanity.
Go ahead.
It looks an awful lot like this here.
Yes, I would suggest you don't raise the cloth off the mirror, Henry. We have things to tell you about this.
You'd also see that there's a wrapped up hand mirror, of which the handle is still on display.
I think Andy has that on his.
He was taking notes. Did you put it in You put it in your bag? Did you?
I put it back in my bag. Yeah.
Never mind on that one.
So
that
Henry,
is just fascinating.
Yeah, I do apologize about the change in plans, but when I heard of this other piece that seems to be connected to the one I'm holding, the hand mirror, I had to come immediately and see it. Mm-hmm.
You can hear, and you can interject if you'd like. Continue. Sorry, Andy.
Oh, you're. Go ahead.
Would the diver be very obviously Irish to us? Because you did say Gaelic runes. You brought that up earlier. Thank you.
I was making a laugh.
So yeah, he is not
Irish.
I wouldn't say he's obviously Irish, but I would also say he's obviously not trying to engage. He's kind of standing at the door, right? And
he's a professional.
His right hand is behind his back, and his left hand is kind of like on his hip. Bianco, seeing it from the outside, understands that his hand is probably on a pistol, and his left hand is probably like close to a knife or something. A belt knife. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the push daggers that are kind of pulled out of a belt buckle.
So Arthur would continue and say, and this is my newly found colleague, Otmar, who is here from Louisiana and has agreed to help me with some of my research.
Otmar, now that's a name. I offer a hand to shake it.
I would gladly reciprocate.
Now, what are your findings? What can you tell me about my mirror?
Well, I would take out the journal, and I would show him the pictures of the hand mirror and of the vanity and say that these bear strikingly similar carvings on them. They're made of the same material. They both have steel mirrors, and so therefore I believe that they're connected. What's more, all of us here, he's pointing at sort of Raymond and Otmar.
Well, Raymond's not there right now. He's getting the milk.
Okay.
Raymond's out milking something.
Otmar and myself have had strange experiences when looking into the mirror. Have you, by chance, spent any time looking into yours?
Oh no! Looking at the mirror. Sure, I've studied it over a time or two, but the only clues I've gotten are what was Grandfather Revel's name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel Revels. That's the only lead I've had other than reaching out to you. And now I understand his grandson is here. We're on his property, and now there's a set involved.
Well, sometimes
for me to collect.
Well, we can talk about that. I think that that's a discussion to be had about the proper place to store and study such materials. But in any case, and then he looks at Otmar. I think he just better experience it for himself. Sometimes that's just the best thing. And then he says, "Come over here, Henry." And
I would quickly look to what is very obviously the opposing figure standing by the door and ask him to please come closer for this. Because if anything goes wrong, I would like his bodyguard next to him and not one of us to try to restrain him while the bodyguard is, again, very obviously, like, in protection mode.
Is something untoward about to happen, gentlemen?
He kind of locks eyes with Arthur, and, like, you can see his fingers kind of, like, tapping the belt buckle as he steps right behind Henry.
That's smart move, Otmar. I sometimes get caught up in my academic pursuits, and it's good to have someone who, knows the world. in that way.
So do you pull the mirror?
Yeah, so I'm saying, so we each had a strange experience when we looked into the mirror, and if you are willing, I think maybe the best way for you to understand what's going on is for you to maybe look into it yourself. Just a mirror.
Okay.
Well, I'm not a doctor myself, so I'll take your word for it, sir.
Okay.
You
And then I would pull it back and I would stand away.
You
Yeah,
pull the
I
mirror.
would make sure I'm looking away as well.
Amar kind of like turns his attention. It seems like there's a very kind of big to-do here. And Henry, you stare into the mirror. And,
Yeah, I'll glance up at Malachi like, you believe this?
Malachi's like kind of keep. You try to look at him and catch eyes with him, but he's got his eyes.
He's
focused
busy.
on
He's busy.
Arthur, like you're probably imagining that he's like breaking Arthur in half in like 100 different ways, like in his like precognitive, like I'm gonna murder this guy if he tries something.
He's the scrawny academic. He's no threat.
It would be quick in every single example that I mentioned in his brain. It is also very quick, but.
I'll look into the mirror.
It's a mirror. You see yourself, probably smiling and handsome. Probably an awkward smile because of the weird situation we're in. But
Sure.
Simple enough.
You know, gentlemen, I'm not. Rumors are rumors. I'm not
It's-
the most vain
it's-
person you'll meet.
It's dirty. It's got like rust.
I'll admit I'm handsome.
It's got rust on the bottom, like I described.
You got me.
It's.
He would then take out the hand mirror and unwrap it, and he would explain what Arthur did, the weird mirror infinity loop, and give it to Henry and say, give this a try then.
I'm gonna take a good look at the back of the mirror for a minute. Study for
The back of the hand
same
mirror?
signature. Yeah.
So you can see the hand mirror, yeah.
You can see it, and you can also see something very, very similar to your full-grown mirror or full-blown mirror. The panel that kind of holds in the mirror seems to be separate from the back panel. Like you could pull them apart. This is a very strange kind of way to kind of form a mirror. Typically, a mirror is kind of settled inside of like a groove, right? And then like a plaque or like a piece of wood is put on the back to kind of cover the back of it. This is not the case. Instead, it looks like they sandwiched the mirror in between two pieces of wood on its outside lip. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Yes. The backing's not the same, but there's still a backing to the mirror.
Correct.
And I see the seam where it is attached.
Just like you're the full-blown mirror. So
Yeah, I'm going to turn to Dr. Haynes like, say, Doctor, this is part of what I wanted to talk to you about. See, I found, similarly in my mirror, there appears to be a catch where the backing could be removed. And again, it's far from my expertise to do so, but I'd love to know if you or somebody you would trust could disassemble to have a closer look.
If it's possibly a third piece of this collection, that would be really fascinating. But why don't you look in the mirror
If
as
you look in the mirror as they suggest, I need you to make a spot hidden check.
Spot hidden. I'm okay at that. I failed that. 74.
Cool. So, you look in the mirror and you see yourself in infinity. It's like a infinite number of handsome Henry Fitzgeralds or Hanks. And there's like this very weird kind of like, as you're kind of looking at the mirror kind of flippantly, there's like this weird situation where you kind of see Arthur in the mirror for a second, but like you think it's just a trick of the light.
I just had my wrist a little askew.
Yeah. And then you kind of go, oh, okay.
I guess my haircut is a little different than I expected in the back, but you get what you pay for, sir.
Steel mirrors don't have the same kind of reflective properties as these glass
fascinating.
mirrors.
So this is just so interesting. So then he takes the hand mirror back and he wraps it up, puts it in his bag, and you see him. Give me just one moment, and he starts writing in his journal.
Bianca, you again are listening to this whole situation, so feel free to do what you want there. They're talking about mirrors, like they're important.
Right, and I was waiting for something to see what would happen to him, to see if they're trying to do the same thing that happened.
Nothing happened to Henry.
Nothing happened.
No, it seemed like they were like they said they had an experience, and then they tried to get him to see something that they saw maybe. So you're kind of like, that's weird.
And a slumber party game they play here in Pennsylvania or wherever we are.
Now you just need to say the name 3 times.
Is it Massachusetts or
Massachusetts,
is it New England? Massachusetts.
Same thing,
I've heard
actually.
Several people have said New England.
New England is... Massachusetts is a part of New England. New England's like the 13 colonies. But it's 13 total states for New England. I know they have a football team, but there is no New England.
Well, we're in alternate history here.
Oh, there is a state called New England now.
Are we in it?
No.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
It's Delaware.
It's Delaware is now New England. In the
I would.
Delaware never mattered.
I would walk in and ask, why are there so many people from outside of town here looking for mirrors?
I stand when she comes in. Well, miss, I've learned that this is part of a set, and I believe it's very valuable. I'd like to get a collection together.
A set for what?
Forgive me. Hank Fitzgerald. Lovely to meet you, miss.
Bianca. Nice to meet you.
I'd shake her hand if she offers. Otherwise,
Yep.
I'm happy with that. Hell yeah.
And if we're there, we're there. So we would also.
Jody's so
introduce
lady.
ourselves.
Sorry, Andy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. We would just introduce ourselves as well and say, I'm Dr. Arthur Hayes. I'm a professor of antiquities at Arkham University, and I'm here studying some of these objects that Raymond has been so kind to allow us access to.
You said that you bought that hand mirror from Leona. Is that correct?
That's right.
I would pull back my evening coat and pull out the mirror and say, why did I find another one that looks like it, but different?
It doesn't. It's just a...
No, that's why I said, but different. It's metal, but different. Yeah, because that's why I'm not
close to.
That's why I'm not aggroing him, because it looks different. If it looked the same, there would be a lot of aggro towards Andy. But if it's different,
I'm a professor. Anyway,
right, but one of my girls was killed, and they had.
I got you. I don't know anything about that action, but
yeah.
So Arthur,
You
his
hand it to-
eyes would light up. And may I see it, please?
I would set it down on the table. It would be a why
Since
are we?
Henry was sitting and stood up because you entered the room, he's close to the table that you're setting it on. He looks down into the mirror for a second. Henry, you see something that nobody else sees. Here's the catch. You see a woman who you've never seen before, and a man...
And it's not Bianca.
Yes, correct. A woman you've never met before.
Never seen before.
And it's not one of the two ladies outside either.
Right.
And a man who you've never seen before, right? They're in some sort of weird rustic house. This is not a reflection. This appears to be like you're looking into a window.
I'm looking through the mirror.
Yep. And you see them for a second, and they walk to the front door in this living room, which is perfectly immaculate, not like the living room that you last saw them in the game. But you see them walk out the front door, and it seems like they fade away into the mists outside of this house that you're seeing. After that happens, you kind of blink, shake your head. This is a very light one, but go ahead and make a sanity roll.
Sanity. Is that one of the main skills?
It's stats, yeah. Up at
Found
the
it.
top's easier.
Ooh, it was close.
Why does
Passed
his
it.
keep saying floor?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the sheet.
You want access to it?
Yeah, take it.
I'm gonna give it to.
Are you in
This
edit
is
mode?
62 versus
No,
4.
it says floor 65. 65 is the skill. I think it's some glitch in the actual sheet.
I'll look. I'll take a peek at
You
it.
got to peek at Zach's sheet and go ahead and help fix it.
Yeah.
But that's a
it's just
success.
not saying success or...
Just as described, you kind of close your eyes, kind of shake it off for a second, but you definitely see something strange with the mirror. And then when you look back after kind of blinking or closing your eyes, the mirror's a mirror.
I would. Is there any way we could have caught that interaction?
No.
Like saw it. It's like saw him shake anything like that.
It's up to Zach. Zach, do you want it to be noticeable? Because you passed, so is it a
Nah.
noticeable? No.
Okay.
There you go.
Just a little. No, that's weird.
But there's at least three new people in town, and it seems very strange that they're all coming after these mirrors, and you said it did something to you?
I would quickly interject, say I wasn't here for mirrors. I was here for a book. That was my main goal. And I have been promptly put into this position because I refuse not to help a long friend.
Long friend.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
don't
long-term
understand
friend. It would be like a long-term friend because me and Arthur would be... I wouldn't just say we're in an order together. For someone
A
who's
secret
obviously-
society. Just tell you,
for someone
we're in a
who's
secret
obviously
society.
panicking. Like, I
And then he would
wouldn't just
make
be
it.
like,
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
I'm a
was looking for
secret
new
agent.
members.
I'm a secret agent.
Yeah,
I
I
am a
would be like,
secret
we
agent.
Yeah, long-term
Do a
friend.
quick
Don't tell
interruption,
nobody.
John. like
Yeah.
a system interact. So when we pass a skill roll,
Mhm.
only once if you open up your sheet, there's a little circle. You could check it off. You pip the pip mark so that when we finish a certain milestone, you can try to improve in that area. So, for
Yeah.
example, I think you had a spot success hidden, Zach.
Mhm.
Did you roll something, Chandler?
I had an appraise, yeah.
Oh, so you had a credit rating, and
Yeah, pip them.
yeah, pip. So do that.
Make sure you pip your stuff.
Credit rating doesn't have a bubble.
Yeah.
I don't think you can
Oh,
improve
that's
credit rating by that.
oh, you're right. You can't
I don't
improve
think
it.
I can get rich by just being. Well, you can.
That's actually how it works.
Exactly how it is.
It's not how it works in this game. Don't
Okay.
worry, gang. I've already played the system. I'm not chasing after those last 4 points.
All right.
Watch me roll a 96.
So, where were we? Sorry.
Did you fix my thing?
No, I didn't.
So, so there was the mirror,
Hey,
and
Owen.
Zach had that experience, and I want to see that mirror.
But Bianca asked, because after she set down the mirror, she says, "There's a bunch of people entering into this town. They're asking about mirrors, and I found this mirror. Did you say where you found it?"
No, I would just say, and I found this mirror, and it seems that there's a lot of either nefarious or strange things going on around these mirrors.
Okay, so real quick, Chandler then said, Otmar, sorry, says what he said. I'm not here for mirrors. I'm here for a book. I just happened to run into my long-term friend, and he's looking for mirrors, so I'm going along with him. At that moment, Raymond, you've finished milking the cow. You've got a sloshing bucket of
Bessie.
milk, and you're heading outside. You see the rip roar of a police car heading north. No sirens or anything crazy. Just a cop car driving on the road. Nobody else really notices because they're kind of engaged in the conversation in the center of the room. But as you're kind of walking back to the kitchen, you notice that cop car going to up that way. You make it back inside. You take a ladle and kind of pour the milk into cups. Everybody can hear kind of sloshing milk, and then you kind of enter into the room at about this point with the milk to kind of pass it out as Otmar is defiantly kind of saying, "I'm not a mirror seeker. I am a book seeker."
Well, the last time I interacted with this chick, she tried to stab me
Yeah.
in the crotch. So, I want to make sure.
No, I
you know
understand.
that I wasn't.
But you were interacting in a wrong way.
You did not have. Yeah, you should have chosen your words carefully.
I'm surprised that you are still alive, to be fair.
No, I'm surprised he has his ding dong.
Yeah. Just whoosh. Take that. So, Raymond, you arrive back in. You're passing out the cups, and that's about when Otmar's doing the defiant. I'm not a mirror seeker. I'm a.
Yeah, he'll hand out the milk to everybody who asks for it, and just kind of be sipping on his own cup, watching. He'd be standing almost at the door, kind of watching at it to see if any other cop cars go by or anything.
So Arthur would say to Bianca, "So you say that something strange happened with that mirror? What happened?"
You'll find out tomorrow, most likely. But I'm not at liberty to say right now. It just seems that bad things are following this town with these mirrors are getting involved.
Does it got something to do with Bill or James that just went by?
She would look kind of coyly and smile. It could. It could.
Okay.
Right, you heard her on the phone. You assume they're going for a gas leak.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Maybe
That's fair.
gasoline has something to do with mirrors. He doesn't know.
I look. Okay, I got one mirror in the house.
Not
Okay,
a
and it's
man
a
of
little
science.
wonky, obviously, to you guys. So
Yeah, and I think that there is something funny about these mirrors. I think they're somehow connected. I'm not sure how, Bianca. But this is kind of what I do. I try to study these things and understand them.
Wait, so there are 4 mirrors?
So it seems like so far there are, well, if we count Bianca's mirror, there are 4. There's the hand mirror that I have, the vanity that Raymond has, the mirror that you have, Henry, and then Bianca's mirror.
And then what are the other... at this point, it's a good time for Arthur. I think he would. What are the other 2 parts of the set that you found in, the literature?
Oh.
Because there was the jewelry box.
Is that you talking about the jewelry box?
No, I'm talking about the jewelry box and the combs. Yeah.
And the combs, yeah.
So it's a set of 6, not 5.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know why I said
no, it's a set. It's a set of 5.
It's a set of 5. It's
Bianca's
a set of 5.
is not
So
a part of the set.
Right. So
Oh.
it's the hand mirror, it's the full mirror, it's the vanity, the jewelry box, and the combs.
The only thing that Bianca's mirror has in common with your mirrors is that it is a steel mirror of a high polished nature. It is literally just a piece of steel that has been sheened neatly on one side. The other side is just basically like rot, like kind of.
But in Bianca's mirror, I saw the figures?
Correct. You didn't see shit in anybody else's attempts to make you see shit, but you saw a girl you've never met and a guy you've never met. Oh, no, actually, very interesting. Did you, on the ride over, look at the papers that you were given by the mayor?
Oh, if he gave them to me, yeah, I'd have read
There
them.
was a picture of a man. His name is Adam. Adam, oh god.
Godin.
Yeah. And that picture was the man in the mirror.
Huh. I'll
Perfect.
shuffle him. I'll shuffle through my pockets where I have the picture, and I'll just sort of like glance at it. Just reaffirm to myself, like, yeah, that was him. And I'll put it
Did I
back.
see him do that?
Yeah, you see him kind of
I did it in plain sight. I was like,
pull out a piece of paper, look at it, and then put it back.
But I saw him see the picture of Adam.
Well, whether it was Adam or not, spot hidden.
I wasn't being necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think
secret
you would
about
be.
it. It was like I don't want to be rude, but I just need to make sure of something.
Nope, didn't see it.
Piece of paper,
Wow.
looked at it, put it in his pocket, no idea.
So since I passed the spot hidden before, do I need to unpip it now that I
No,
failed?
no, that's not how it works.
Okay.
Just a success is all you need.
I haven't succeeded in anything except for the credit rating, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So-
I've only made 2 rolls, I think. I'm just
Sanity
making sure.
can't. Yeah, sanity's not a skill.
Bummer.
It is a stat. Okay. I'm leaving it to you where you go from there, folks.
So, if the
so-
mirrors are the things you're researching, shouldn't you just be taking them apart? Like, break them, see what's in them, you know?
Oh, no.
I
Oh,
thought I wouldn't break them. Deconstruct, perhaps.
Yeah.
By somebody keyed to. What's the word I'm looking for? Restorations. But breaking the object. No, I strongly suggest we not do that.
So tell me about this. Where do you have this standing mirror, Henry?
Mayor Baird offered me a room in his home I could stay in. It's currently stored there.
Okay.
The fanciest
I would
house
love
in
to
town.
see
by the
that.
way, Raymond.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I would have to speak with the mayor first about allowing guests into his home, but I imagine I could arrange for such a thing.
Excellent. And then he says, sort of pulling Henry aside for a moment, perhaps we can see if once we have all these items collected together, we could have perhaps some sort of special space on campus to store or display these artifacts with, of course, your name on it and hopefully a generous donation.
Oh, damn.
Oh, from myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate to
Damn.
burst your bubble, Professor. I currently have some of my assets tied up. Currently, I'm in the middle of purchasing some property on Fifth Avenue in New York City. However, I was looking to procure the other. Now that I know it's a set, I was hoping to procure the other items to sell to a museum.
Well,
And you must agree, they belong in a museum.
they belong either in a museum or in a research library location where they can be studied adequately. Often those are one and the same. So I think we are not actually working at cross purposes. We just have to find the right space.
We'll have to think on it. That's a conversation for another time. And beyond that, it looks like several of the items are already owned by people in this room. Mr. Revels, was it? Ray? Can I call you Ray?
Call
Milk is
whatever you
delicious,
want.
by the way.
We call
Yeah,
it
she
that.
does good.
He does good. Good answer. Now, how long have you had the vanity?
My father got it from his dad's wife, if I'm remembering the story correctly. It's
That's
something his
lovely.
dad
There-
made for his wife, and he gave it to mom, and then he wanted me to give it to my wife, but ain't got there yet.
Almost as
Take your
if,
time. Take your time. Son.
like on cue, the two girls come inside after having stayed outside for a while.
The smile on Brent's face.
They will whisper to Bianca, kind of pull her aside like Arthur did with Henry, and explain to you they saw the cop car heading that way. You already know. It was just in case Brent didn't tell in character. But they do tell you, and they kind of stay with you and kind of let you drive. Because I'm assuming your arms are crossed, is that right? And I'm sure for them that's a sign of, this is not our fucking party. This is her party. She's handling the business.
This is big business.
Let mama work.
This is grown-up time. Even though I think the older of the two ladies probably not too far off in age for you, but she definitely has like a...
The older one's the one that's dead.
well, no, not the oldest one, but yeah, this one is the Lenora, I think or my brain's working. Hold on, Lorraine.
How many ladies you got?
The one who sold the mirror.
Aubrey is the oldest.
Right. Correct. And Audrey is with you, so yeah, she would be close to you in age, maybe like a couple years difference, but yeah, she still looks up to you as a motherly figure. But yeah, they'll come in, they'll whisper
You
to you.
still didn't really answer what these mirrors do. You were trying to get our new guest here to do something to him. What do they do?
That's an excellent question.
I was about to say, Otmar, I would say, do you want to look into them? You can try exactly what we tried with Mr. Fitzgerald here.
Doctor,
to
let's
see-
not play these games. Could you please just explain to me what was meant to happen to me in the mirror?
Raymond, you were there as well, no? You saw as well.
But yeah, I see it all the time.
Yeah. Can you explain what you saw?
Raymond's
see-
so haunted.
You cannot fucking help but love this guy. He is so wonderful.
I know.
Oh yeah,
You go,
that's
Brett. You go,
what-
Brett.
So, yeah, it's just kind of like you see like a different version of yourself. Like whenever I see me in the mirror, I definitely look a lot different than I do now. The last time we saw it, the doctor died, and the guy next to him over there, Otmar, said that he got some feelings that he felt like the brain was exploded on him. And apparently it was me that did it, but I didn't do it, obviously, because the doctor's right there.
You understand now, don't you?
So all of you saw in the mirror.
It's elementary, my dear.
I can't stress how much I love this game. Keep going.
All of you saw in the mirror this young man kill Dr. Haynes.
Yeah, the doctor didn't see it because he was kind of writing notes.
So, Henry, this is one of the reasons why having someone with some academic training is helpful in this circumstance. And he would have a pause there. And then he would say, are you familiar with anything related to the study of the occult?
No, sir. Never touch the stuff.
That's probably for the best, but one of my...
Keep going.
One of... I found some occult type runes carved on the back of this vanity. Are there also some, John, on the hand mirror?
No, they're not. But as I mentioned, on
Possibly inside the panel on the back.
that's
When
Right.
he says
a
that,
smart boy, such a smart
Bianca
boy.
would kind of pop up and be like, "I want to see them."
Yeah, and then Arthur would be very happy to take out his notes
Well, no.
and walk around to the back and show. And
The second you see the Gaelic runes, you recognize the Gaelic runes. They were the same symbols that were etched on the ground and then filled in with sand.
wait,
Or
what?
filled in with
I
salt.
would tell them. I would tell them what do these mean? What is this?
First time
So-
I've seen him.
I
I've seen
need
this
to do
before.
some research. I don't speak Gaelic or read it, but I know we can make this. I could have this translated. It would just mean taking good notes and bringing it back to the university to get some help with that.
Mal,
So
You
the
read, Galen?
runes in the back, are they
Shakes
in
his
like?
head.
Worth a try.
My
Are
dad,
they,
my dad might could have.
Yeah.
I was born here.
Mm.
Are the runes in the back like in a big enough circle for the hand mirror to go into?
No. Well,
Dang.
you could fit the whole hand mirror in the back spacing, right?
Yep.
The runes are on the X. Basically, like it's an oval mirror, right? And there's a
Yep.
rim around the outside, a frame. On the back side of that frame is where the runes are. It's almost like there
Gotcha,
was
okay.
supposed to be a panel there, but it's not.
But there's no hand there. Gotcha. So
And I think Zach very astutely stated something I'd like him to state again.
Somebody who's good at furniture restoration or handling artifacts could split that panel off the back of the hand mirror and have a look-see.
I'm sure with the
mean-
proper tools I could do that.
I got a hammer.
So I'm looking at the skills and I'm trying to
Ray's
think
got a
what
hammer.
woodworking would be.
And
Can I
cow
let me
milking.
just look at
Would
my
it just
skills real
be
quick?
dexterity?
No.
Sleight of
it
hand,
would be a,
maybe.
it would be a skill, I think. It would be a skill.
Hold on a second.
I would say that
Mechanical repair?
mechanical repair
was
is the closest we've got. Yeah, I think
In
that's
there.
solid. That's not a bad one, Chody.
What about art craft?
Oh shit. That's the one.
Antiques.
That's the one. I want that.
I don't have that one.
How do you not have that one?
I just have
Oh,
literature in that.
oh, that's the one where I had to fill in.
Art
I'm good at farming and mechanical repair.
craft farming is not the one. Art craft antiques is the one.
I mean, I've got 5 points in it. I don't trust the whole reason we made this road trip was because Henry Fitzgerald doesn't trust himself to take this mirror apart himself.
Yep.
Right, so, yeah, I'm not sure I'd be able to do it either. But again, back at the university, there are people who are expert at this who will be able to do it.
Nice computer use even here.
We're going into the 80s.
They didn't have computers until like 2006.
That's not
I
true.
would,
You
Not
know
true.
It's not true.
I would look at the back of the mirror that I brought.
Okay. Nothing. It is.
At me.
Chody, you metalwork, so you know exactly what I'm kind of saying here. It is a flat piece of steel, like a maybe like an eighth to like a quarter of an inch thick, right? The backside, it looks like it was hammered, like planetched, like into a shape. And then on the front side, it looks like they just slammed that bitch onto a polisher, and it's perfectly mirror sheen. That's all it is. There's no wood, there's no frame, there's nothing. It's just a piece of metal.
So I would look at Arthur and be like, so this is something that came from, and then I'd look at what's Brent's
Hank?
character? Brent's
No.
character.
Yeah.
This
Raven.
came from your old house, your father.
Yeah.
Your
The
steel
bad-
mirror? No.
No, the
they don't know
big
where
one.
you. Yeah, the
Yes.
big one.
With the things on the back, and I'd say,
Yeah.
and he used to live down at Adam's house.
There
Yep.
we go. We got the connect finally.
Exactly.
No, I
Keep going.
I'm
Keep going.
just trying to put it together.
You're doing great. You're
Storyline
beautiful.
wise.
Keep going.
I saw those markings carved in the floor at his house. At Adam's house.
When?
This guy?
About
I'll
30
take the
minutes
photo
ago.
out.
With that guy. About 30 minutes ago with
That's really weird.
where I found the mirror.
I was hoping to meet with him too.
Well, let's go.
You're gonna have an issue with that.
Oh,
Why?
is he busy?
We were hoping to meet with him too.
They're dead down there. They were found. Looks like they were sacrificed to something with these ruins around them.
Oh. Bianca, do you think you'd be allowed? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would suggest we go.
We're gonna have
Well, I
company
like-
down there. The sheriff's going that way to check out a gas leak.
How long do you think until he needs to return to
We already
town?
saw
What
him
he
drive
actually
past.
saw?
I
how-
don't
what-
know. It was a murder show there. There was blood everywhere.
Do you think he would run back to get help? Is basically what I'm asking.
He probably might.
He does have a deputy.
I would, if we, since the girl said and Brent said that we saw him already zoom by, I would suggest we wait until he comes back by. We have multiple vehicles here. I would want to go investigate again, like, for Otmar, like, the occult part is surrounded by death, like, for Louisiana and for everything he grew up in. That's the part for him. And the book he was looking for was, like, a book of death, so, like, again, he would very heavily want to go and investigate as soon as possible, but understanding that the company he's in may not be to the same level of enthusiasm for it.
So, Henry, if you say that out loud, Henry would say, Bianca, you seem to be a very successful businesswoman.
The hell he would. You're not Henry.
I'm sorry, Henry, not Arthur would say it. Sorry.
Did you forget who you were? Of course you want to be the
I
money
totally
sexy
did.
Dylan.
No Bogart my character, Andy.
Sorry. He would say to Bianca, you seem to be a really successful businesswoman.
She would giggle at that.
And
Trying
you
to
seem
get by.
you seem to have some power in town. Why don't you let us know when it would be safe for us to go there without worry about, that would give us time to look at things on our own.
I guess my first priority is figure out what happened to one of my girls. She was there. She was cut up.
Well, we could help. We could help with that maybe if these things are connected, but I don't think this is something that the police are going to be too amenable to. It's, I'm surprised that you all are open-minded enough to understand. Otmar and I have experience with these things, and it's a hard pill to swallow.
I agree, but for some reason, this is something to where it's either open or fall into the void. Open your mind or fall into the void. So we'll see what we can do. The sheriff's not going to be able to clean that up by himself, so he'll definitely be having to go back for help if he didn't bring anyone for help. So we should be able to make it over there after he goes back, and should have at least a little bit of time.
As you folks are talking, and it's been some time, you would kind of just a lull in the conversation. You would hear kind of off in the distance like the roar of a vehicle. It does look like, as you're kind of looking outside the open door, which hasn't been closed at all this entire time, because who cares, right? You'd see the cop car driving back to town. It doesn't look like it's speeding. It doesn't look like it's like hurried or anything. It just looks like it's driving back into town.
Oh, that would annoy me.
Yeah, I would be seeing that. I would be like, let's go. Let's go check it out if possible. I don't know how many vehicles we actually have here though for everyone, because Bianca has the two girls out front. There's the driver. There's a lot of people now.
He has a truck.
Yeah, I got a bed.
This is the country. Get in the bed.
I would gladly sit in the bed.
Raymond would look at Bianca and be like, hey, if you want, the girls can sit here. That way they ain't gotta be in more danger.
Yeah, girls, stay here. Clean up the house a little bit.
Nah, it's fine. They don't have to do nothing like that. They can relax. If they need milk, though, definitely don't get it from Betsy. She buys a little bit.
Very well then.
As you're leaving, I would say that again, you probably fornicated with both of these women, Raymond, in time. So I would say that it'd probably be Audrey who kind of walks over to you with like a kind of grateful look and gives you like a kiss on the back of your neck and says, "Thank you, honey," and kind of walks over to the couch to sit down.
Raymond will go and can I take my gun as well? Because it was a murder scene, so I would like to take my rifle.
Couldn't hurt, but doesn't seem like anything else is getting up and moving to be a threat there. But if it makes you feel better, fine.
Just a little bit. I'm not the biggest fella here, and he'll look at Otmar. And the new bodyguard that is here as well.
Oh, yeah, he's fucking massive. Probably, maybe like a couple inches shy of Otmar, but framing-wise, it's a little bit wider on the sides.
Yeah.
Dude's built like a fridge, even though nobody has them. Henry probably does. I don't know. When was the fridge invented? Not important. Focusing up. So you guys are going to be leaving and traveling over to the Rebels home. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm coming along too.
Are you riding separate?
Yeah, Malachi and I are driving over.
Yep. And Arthur, are you driving your car?
If I'm able to
Yep,
be,
I have my own car.
could I grab that mirror that I actually did see something funny in?
Bianca
That's Bianca's.
moves
She
to
would
grab
pick
it,
up.
and Henry, you kind of look at it. You see her going for it. How would you like to engage?
What would you like for that mirror, miss?
We can talk about it later after we figure out what happened over here. Then, if you want it, you can have it. We can figure out a price later.
Of course, forgive me. It's rude of me to ask.
For
In a moment
narrative
like
purposes, this might change what you say, Chody. I'm assuming Henry's the type of guy who grabs his billfold when he says something like that. Is that fair?
Oh yeah.
So
If he's offering to buy something, he's saying, "I'll buy it now,"
you
and
see
there's a
Henry
money
is
clip.
flush with cash. Like, you've never seen a $100 bill, but there's one or two in his money
I'll
clip.
say those will do. If I see them, I'll say
like
those
at
will
first it's
do.
like a reserved, and then
I
like
don't-
those will do.
I don't anticipate spending my per diem on this, miss. Perhaps we should talk later.
I'm gonna point out a Model
Well, we'll see
T
what
of
happens
this
to the
era
price then.
costs
As you know,
$260.
dates can go up and down.
Say again, Chandler.
A Model T costs $260 in this day and age for
Yep.
like where we're at.
Yep.
That's a brand new off the line modeled one.
You could
Someone
buy a
explain
house.
to me. There's cash and there's spending level. What is spending level?
I don't know.
Some of you have played this game before. If
I
you look
have,
at
but I'm
possessions,
trying to
there's wealth. There are two separate money amounts.
Okay, so credit rating and investigator expenditure. So credit rating is determined day-to-day expenses and general living standards. That's determined by your credit rating. Spending beyond one's spending limit. Harvey wants to buy a 12-gauge shotgun costing $40. This being over his $10 spending limit, he reduces his cash by 40 from 82 to 42. So cash level is what you kind of have on you.
What is spending level?
It's basically your per diem. What's your per
Oh,
diem?
so spending level
Yeah.
is $250.
Yeah, that's how much you have on hand.
That's what I have on
That's what
hand.
you flip out
Does
every
that
day.
replenish? Does that come out of cash, or
Yeah,
is
that's
that
effectively what you spend every day. Like, that's what you have on hand every day.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Most people have, like,
there's John D. Rockefeller gone, and then Hank Fitzgerald.
Harvey, as an example, has $20 or $10 per day, and he's like the one that's closer to Raymond's side, right? You're at the highest end of the market. Raymond, what was your credit rating? 16 or something?
Yeah. My spending level is $10 and my cash is $36.
You're at 96 or some shit. Okay?
95.
95. Sorry. Anyways, you're in the top 5 percentile. So understand.
Yeah, you're right. I apologize. Fuck it. I'm
For-
gonna give her $200.
$200 for the mirror. Do you sell
Does
the
my
mirror?
credit go up now?
No. You just have $200 spending cash. That's what you have.
Awesome.
Yeah, you do not become invested and rich, because remember, Henry's money isn't just I have dollary dues. It's also I have properties.
I have investments.
I have stocks. I have
Hard assets.
There are wealth.
According to the thing, you just paid $3,466 for that mirror.
Oh
I
yeah.
wanted it. Maybe you can't wrap your head around this. I wanted something that I
might
could
be for
afford,
sale if that's the case.
and I purchased it. Well, you should have talked to me first.
That's how capitalism
Yeah.
works. So,
Yeah,
Raymond, you
crap.
see this money flipped out for a mirror that's not even close to as cool as your vanity when Arthur and Otmar were talking about how they wanted to buy yours.
I'm definitely gonna keep that in my mind.
Yep. As you move,
You guys heard me drop the line about purchasing land on Fifth Avenue, right?
Yeah.
we did.
I'm investing in the Empire State Building.
right. There's a very
That's the
very
joke.
large. It's a very large difference between 16 and 95.
Yeah.
So anyway, you board up. So it sounded like Arthur's driving solo. Otmar's riding in the back of Raymond's truck. Bianca and the girls are riding. Or no, the girls are staying. Bianca's riding in the back, or could ride up front. with Raymond since nobody else is jumping on, and Arthur's driving his car separate for reasons.
Oh, I would ride with
Arthur?
Arthur then.
Okay.
Yeah, no, if I don't have to ride in the back, I thought there was.
Nobody has to ride in the back because Bianca is riding in the front with Raymond. Henry's riding with Malachi, and Arthur and Otmar are going together. So we have a 3-car caravan driving out to the old Revels estate. Okay. Does anybody have, besides the rifle, is there any other kind of like precursors and stuff that I need to take into account before we get to this next scene?
Are you talking about what do we have weapons?
No, just anything. Like whatever you're doing.
Oh.
I have what I had on me, so.
Any preparatory work? Are you keeping the mirror in your bag? Are you leaving it here with the vanity?
I don't have the mirror anymore.
Not you.
No, he's talking about
Arthur.
Oh, I'm keeping it in my bag.
Yeah, because like I have $200. You're like the whole car right over.
I'm gonna buy me a new life.
You just keep on looking down at it. You keep looking down at it. You're like,
he's got a small fortune in bra money.
Heck yeah.
Love it. You drive on over. Okay. Who's the lead? Raymond, since you know the way?
Well, okay, yeah, true. Shit, I want to be the second car then.
Okay.
Is that all possible to convince Arthur to do that to his own vehicle?
Henry's totally okay with being last in line because
Sure, whatever.
everybody looks at the person who arrives last. Okay. Raymond, you arrive. You see that Adam's, cars in the park there. It's quiet as you expect, from that. The car was there before, Bianca.
Okay, it's just, in the thing you told me before, he said his car was missing, so I didn't know.
Did I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That the car is missing.
Yep.
Car remains. I thought they said the car was still there. It's not an important point or beat.
She's been gone for a week, and you went out to see what's going on. The farmer's car is missing, and the blinds are all drawn, and the door is locked.
Got it. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so car is missing. Right?
That's what you said in my
No, I'm
thing.
checking my own notes. Sorry. We're past what I said last time. We're to where.
Well,
no,
I'm saying in
the
my
car is there.
notes.
Sorry, apologies. The car is there.
Okay.
Yes. So that is very interesting for Bianca when you pull up with Raymond. Your first.
Because
in
it
line.
was not there
It
before.
was not there before. Correct.
I would tell that to Raymond.
Okay. You park near to there, and you folks kind of start moving in. As you're kind of mustering, and Bianca, you're kind of like looking at the car confused, the front door of the house opens. Out
Like it
comes,
opened on its own?
like somebody opened it, yeah. And out comes Adam, out onto the porch, looking over at Raymond. Raymond, it's not a situation you've not been in before. You've definitely seen Adam and your front porch, or his front porch now. So this is definitely something you've seen happen before. There he is.
Yeah, I'll look over to Bianca like, he's kind of still breathing.
My jaw would be dropped open, and I would say, where's Shirley?
Well, you're in the car still. You haven't gotten out yet.
Oh, I would get out as soon as I saw him. I'd be flipping out. I'd be like, where's Shirley?
She's inside.
I'd yell for her.
Okay. After a fashion, you'd see her come to the front door. And then everybody else is getting out of their cars at about this point. She kind of looks over at you and she says, "What's wrong, Bianca?" And it sounds just like her. It looks just like her.
Or mind fucking Chody. You did not get $200.
No!
Also, you didn't...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But yeah, there they are. Not dead.
I would tell her, you need to come with me now. You're done here.
Well, no. And he kind of steps forward and says, "I'm fixing to marry her." Perfect time to throw up, Cat.
Oh.
Otmar would also be out at this point.
Yep,
and
everybody's out.
Yeah, I'd be walking to get not close to Bianca, but within like 2 or 3 meters of Bianca.
What's going on here anyways, Adam says, and looks over at Raymond like he's the person that he's, kind of directing his question towards.
Well, we were told there was an emergency down here, so we came to come check and see what the emergency
The
was.
second person who stopped by today, the sheriff stopped by and said there was a gas leak. And I told him there was no gas leak. And he said, Shirley's been missing for a week. And I told him to go ahead and talk to her. And she says, I haven't been missing, Bianca. I'm sorry I haven't come back. I've been working, but I'm not working for you anymore now that he's going to be marrying me. And I'm going to be a stand-up woman with a home and food and animals to rear and whatnot. Adam's going to be able to take care of me for good.
Bianca would kind of shake her head and walk to the back of the house and look where the window where she broke.
Broken.
It's broken?
Yep. Just like you broke it.
I'd say, what happened to this window?
Well, if you're walking around the back of the house, they're not.
Oh, I would come back and say, what happened to the back
Well, before
window?
you get there, everybody else is on the table.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Not show.
We're not waiting for Bianca.
Yeah.
What's everybody else doing?
Dad's Raymond just standing here, kind of
Sounds
like confused, just sitting there, just like looking at the rest of the people, and then looking back at Adam like, this doesn't look great. Because they're all not all of them are armed, but some of them are armed.
Most of us are armed.
Yeah.
So as you kind of go back to the back mirror, you see it broken. You kind
Window, not mirror.
window, right? You kind of go
Just making sure.
shit, and kind of go there it is. Then you kind of look into it, and the blinds aren't closed like they were before. You can see into the living room. No sign of blood, no sign of carvings in the ground, no salt, no nothing. Totally fine. And as you're kind of like, that anger is kind of building up in you, and you're kind of seeing everything, like and trying to like think about your own head, I need you to make a sanity roll.
It's under skills, right?
Yeah,
It's on the top, yeah. It's actually an attribute.
The bottom right in the green square.
Yeah.
Bottom right of
Got
the
it.
large book.
Oh, wow.
You are certain
Solid.
of what you saw. What you
It's
don't
like in real life.
What you don't understand, and you're definitely coming to grasp with this, is right now, everything is different with the exception of one thing and only one thing. The broken window. The broken window is exactly as you left it. Everything else is different. So you said you're going to start heading to the front. We'll get to you in a second. So Arthur, Henry, Otmar, Raymond. Raymond, you said you're just kind of, okay, whatever, this is happening.
Dude.
And then
I'm
Arthur,
here.
Otmar, and Henry, you can go ahead and engage.
I mean, at this point, this might not be the best time to try to get into the house. Things seem a little chaotic, at least, so Arthur would hang back. And if others want to be more direct, that's fine, but he's not
I'm
gonna.
gonna check the photo in my pocket one more time.
Same guy.
You're Adam Godin, right?
That's right. Who are you?
Pleasure to meet you, sir. My name is Henry M. Fitzgerald.
He kind
I
of
offer a
steps
handshake.
down from the the porch and kind of offers his hand as you put your forward and you shake. Feels physical, feels real. There's a person there.
I had no doubt.
I just want to. I'm
Again,
mostly
I don't
joking.
touch the stuff. Mayor Baird told me I might be able to speak with you. I'm a collector of sorts. I understand a Mr. Gabriel Ray Revels used to own this home.
Yeah, that's right.
Would there be any things of interest? I understand him to be a great artist.
Yeah.
I encountered one of his pieces not too long ago. I'm hoping to collect.
Well, I actually sold a lot of the woodwork he had in the house, furniture-wise, except for the mantelpiece, to a collector in Arkham City. It's how I came about a bit of wealth to secure my car, and he gestures to it. And it's one of the fancier cars that you were posting, but not the one you selected. It's, let's see, it's that Hudson Super 6.
Oh, okay, that's great. I was like, oh, that's a beaut. What year is she?
It's a 1925.
25. My goodness.
Yeah, and so I've got a decent amount of cash put away, and I feel like I'm kind of in a situation now where working the land is kind of boring, and I thought I'd go ahead and take myself a nice little piece of trophy wife to help me acclimate myself when I start moving into Arkham and making a name for myself. Fortunately, it's not too far away. Easy commute, I suppose. And I'm going to start trying to get into the higher class, the higher crust of society.
I certainly wouldn't talk you out of it, sir. If you have the wealth, you should enjoy it. That's what I always said.
Of course. And she kind of smiles, like, from the porch, and kind of makes her way down to kind of take his arm.
Is she the lady I saw in the mirror?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a little hesitant at first, but if she's offering, I'll shake her hand as well.
Yeah, she does the same
and you
thing
miss
Bianca does.
Charmed. Who are you? You must be
Shirley.
the trophy Mr. Godin spoke of.
My name's Shirley.
Shirley. Lovely to meet you, miss. Do you have a beautiful home? Would it be at all invasive off the table? Could I come inside, sir?
Of course. I don't have anything to offer you drink-wise or food-wise at current.
I just filled up on some fine milk down the road there.
Gestures
so
over
no,
Raymond.
not necessary in the slightest.
Okay, well, yeah, you come on in. And just before they do, go ahead, Arthur.
Introduce us, Henry.
Where are my manners today? I left them in New York City. This is Dr. Arthur Haynes his associate.
As you start to cut there, that's when Bianca comes around the corner. So, Bianca, you were coming around and you were saying with kind of force, interjecting yourself into the conversation, saying...
What happened to that back mirror, that back window?
Huh?
What happened to the window in the back?
Well, darndest thing. It was a deer that kicked it.
Why is a deer trying to kick in the window of a house?
I turned back and look at him.
he said it was walking around the outside, got spooked, and its antler hit the window. It was last night.
She didn't like that. Just...
And
deer kicked it.
So what he's saying, is it possible to try to suss out his his demeanor? Do we think he's telling the truth?
So yeah, there's not really like a detect truth.
There's psychology.
Psychology would not be something I would say. Again, he's saying words, and depending on your understanding of the situation, let me explain the situation from a perspective of kind of just normalcy. Bianca said he is dead. He is not dead. He shook Henry's hand. There is no reason for him to be lying. He just says it at Bianca, just matter-of-factly. So that's the psychology no role needed. But for Bianca, who unfortunately is in a current state of contrarianness due to what she has seen, you would understand that he is lying to you. And so the very generous kind of placent kind of look he's giving you to others may look like, well, that's all it is. It's just a deer that knocked the window. Who cares? To you, basically notes that he knows what's going on here. You don't know what's going on here, but you know it's not what's currently going on here. It's something else, but you know he knows what's going on here, and so that's up to you how you want to play it from there.
I'm gonna cut him so much.
If you want to try it now, we can go ahead and start that fight.
No.
And his associate Otmar.
It'll be less a Dungeons and Dragons, more like a cops fight. If
no, she's not stupid, but she would definitely do the whole stare down thing. And
he doesn't share.
She would go. She would look at Shirley and say, "I'm glad that you found someone who cares about you, but you still owe me some, so we'll have to talk about that price before you are completely free of your contract."
He looks at you and pulls out a money clip. Not anywhere near as awesome as Henry's, but good. How much? Settle up, I guess.
$125 will get her gone and free.
He looks down at it and he goes, "Give me a second." Goes back into the house. You hear something break, like a porcelain sound. Comes back out with a bunch of quarters, a bunch of pennies, bunch of, everything, and then also some dollars on top, and he hands it over to you. Should be enough. And this is after he invites everybody in, so as he's going in, breaking the piggy bank, he's then paying Bianca at the porch. He does not seem to let her in, but he says, "You and your friends are fine."
I wouldn't come in.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't go in.
He only
Yeah,
made
no.
$325 in 1927 by selling a hand mirror and a woman.
Yeah, he's
I
really
didn't-
good.
Kind of like an hour.
I didn't sell her.
It sounded like you were selling her,
I
mister.
set her free, and she.
Because
she
you owned her?
refused.
And for me, that is a decent point to end on. Raymond, you are obviously not being invited in. It's the people who are kind of a bit more ritzy and classy. So at the beginning of next session, we're going to determine a couple of things, and we'll engage the conversation in the house. All right, thanks for watching those that did, and we'll see you next week.